Fewer licenses, less business.
Anglers are lining up on the west coast, but for anglers on the Avalon and the south coast, it's still a waiting game.
I feel like everybody who's part of the community gets a chance to feel accepted.
And rainbows appear in Springdale as the town kicks off Pride Week.
The celebrations come after the town was the center of controversy when it refused to paint a rainbow crosswalk.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Debbie Cooper.
And I'm Anthony Germain. Well, where do you sleep when you've been turned away from a homeless shelter?
Nonprofit groups call it a gap in the system, and one landlord in St. John's has made hundreds of thousands of dollars bridging it. Ryan Cook joins us now with this CBC Investigate story. Ryan, who's the landlord we're talking about and just how much money did he make?
Well, his name is Leonard Ferran. He's known around St. John's for being the guy you turn to when you have nowhere else to stay. We're standing here outside of his home on University Avenue, which he operates as a private emergency shelter. Now, we know that he also owns 3 other houses around the city, and collectively they brought in $720,000 last year. Now, to put that into some context, that's about $2,000 per day. Fair grossed more taxpayer money than the highest paid civil servant in the province, Nalcor CEO Stan Marshall. More than 3 times as much as the chief judge of the provincial court, and about 4.5 times as much as the premier of the province. Fair takes in people after they've been turned away from non-profit shelters around the city. A person could be turned away for being intoxicated or violent, or the shelters could be full. Fair is one of the only ones in St. John's providing these types of emergency shelter. He submits an invoice after the stay and is paid by direct deposit. Minister Al Hawkins, whose department oversees these stays, says the payments always fall inside a range of standard rates.
It's very difficult to put a price tag on these emergency, because again the key word is emergency housing, and the normal process, of course, is to go through our not-for-profit organizations such as the Wiseman Centre, the Choices for Youth, and the Tommy Sexton Centre, and the Native Friendship Centre.
There are also people who come out of some of our correctional facilities who have nowhere to go, and the money goes directly into the pockets of those who are providing these emergency shelters. We need emergency shelters, but there is no oversight in terms of what really is provided.
Nobody from the province visited Fair's residence last fiscal year, and nobody will unless a complaint is lodged. Jerry Rogers questions why anybody would complain when they have nowhere else to go. And without programs to help them, she says the same people end up in private shelters night after night.
What happens is we see the recidivism, we see it's just repeat and repeat and repeat, and people are desperate to have a roof over their head, and some of these folks will accept whatever it is they have.
Now, there were a lot of questions that we wanted to ask Leonard Ferran, but he declined comment for this story. Al Hawkins, meanwhile, says that there will be some small administrative changes made to the way this works, shifting the responsibility from his department to Newfoundland and Labrador Housing. But the system itself will remain essentially the same. When they've run out of options, they'll be calling on Leonard Ferran. Reporting live in St. John's, I'm Ryan Cook for Here Now.
The salmon fishing season opened just hours ago. The rivers opened to fishing at about 4 o'clock Newfoundland time, and anglers on the west coast were finally able to buy their licenses today. This after a delay to the start of the season. The province issued licenses first thing this morning in Corner Brook, and Here Now's Colleen Connors was there.
It's not even 9 a.m. and this sporting goods shop is jammed with anglers.
It's because it's the first day they were available, and I fish every year with my girlfriend and my kids, and I fished all my life with my dad and my grandfather, so got to be here.
Noel and many others would have been here the 1st of June when the season was set to open. But the province had to rewrite the licenses after federal fisheries changed the rules for this season.
You know, I'm willing to wait a couple of days. It's a privilege to be able to do this. So.
You don't think it as a disadvantage for you to miss a couple days?
No, not really. I have the whole summer to fish, and so does everybody else.
This is 117?
Oh, 117 then. We're good.
Licenses had to be reprinted 4 times. Staff with Fisheries and Land Resources worked through the weekend, and the minister hand-delivered the dozen or so boxes to the store this morning. Gary Party was one of the first anglers here this morning. He and his wife fish at Harry's River every year and hoped for more than one fish each this season.
Well, it does seem to be a bit of schmazzle. I think it should have been much better organized, but hey, we live with it. We love to fish. We're going to fish anyway. I'd like to see more than one fish too, but hey, we live with what we got.
Licenses like this will go to dozens of shops on the West Coast and parts of central Newfoundland.
They'll go from Port aux Basques to St. Anthony right to Bishop's Falls in this first shipment.
Byrne says the licenses are following the fish. Salmon are already in the West Coast rivers. There's going to be a steady stream of people coming in through Barnes Sporting Goods shop all day today in Corner Brook. And many people here in line told me that they took their annual leave days around getting their licenses and are very much looking forward to hitting those rivers as quickly as possible. Now, the rest of the licenses for the West Coast will be delivered by the end of the day. Colleen Connors, CBC News, Corner Brook.
Well, the licenses are not yet available on the East Coast, and the ongoing delays are causing headaches for businesses that supply the fishing industry. Anthony spoke to one of those earlier today.
Put it in perspective, up to this date last year, we sold over 300 licenses from the first one that was sold around May 16th.
Right.
So we're weeks past what we had last year. Well, it's heartbreaking for the anglers, and the thing is that a lot of them have been waiting on this decision and waiting on the licenses for months now. We've had people since Christmas who've been saying, I'm going to wait until I find out what's going to happen.
How we're prioritizing issuing these licenses, getting them out to vendors, is the follow the fish principle. We know that there's fish that have been in the Cadroy for some time, and so that's how we're doing this. We could have waited until the entire order of licenses and tags was ready, so all 30,000 plus licenses were ready before we distributed any. That would have resulted in a significant delay, a delay of a further, potentially up to 10 days to 2 weeks longer.
Well, DFO and the province also released details of the rules. They state that each person with a license is allowed to keep one fish and catch and release up to 10 fish between today and July 20th. Well, as usual, it seems we've missed the spring memo here in Newfoundland and Labrador.
I didn't get
Central has seen its fair share of sprinter snow.
But finally, the Avalon got a wake-up call, of course, waking up to scenes like this one in Mount Pearl. And even as the day progressed, winter weather and winds.
Oh, how
You
sad.
gotta be kidding me. Only the gulls could play golf in these conditions.
Yeah, keeping even the most avid golfers away from Ballyhaley Golf Course in St. John's. Can you believe it is June 4th?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yes.
It really was what everyone was talking about today, I think.
Yeah.
All the snow and
Yeah.
So yeah, things are not looking great. Let's just have a look. We'll start with our satellite and radar picture for right now. The good news is tomorrow is going to be a lovely day for pretty much everyone. The bad news is we do have some wet weather that is slowly making its way to the island, and also some snow in store for the folks along the northern coast of Labrador. So this is how it's going to play out over the next couple of days. Tomorrow we're looking at mostly sunny skies for pretty much everyone until we get into the evening hours. And as we get into around 7 o'clock, that's when the snow is going to start, about 5 centimeters of snow there. And as we get around midnight, that's when the south coast and the Avalon and the west coast will start seeing some showers, about 5 to 10 millimeters of showers tomorrow night into Wednesday. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit cool. It's going to be a little bit wet, but we have tomorrow. So I'll have more detail a bit later, Debbie.
Thanks, Carolyn. A man from Labrador with a violent history of sexual assault and attempted murder is now facing a charge of aggravated assault in Halifax. Sam Obed was released from a federal penitentiary 3 years ago with more than 30 convictions for crimes dating back to the 80s. Officials said then he was at a risk of reoffending. Preston Mulligan has the latest developments.
Ed was escorted into a Halifax courtroom this morning in handcuffs. His appearance before a judge lasted less than 2 minutes, enough time to read the charges: break and enter, choking to overcome resistance, uttering threats, and aggravated sexual assault.
Aggravated sexual assault usually means that a person has been sexually assaulted, and in the course of that sexual assault has been wounded, maimed, or disfigured is the classic definition. So it usually means that there is an injury beyond just a superficial one, and that's what the allegations are in this case.
Obed has a long violent history. In the late 1990s, he was released from custody and moved to Halifax. Police issued a warning then that he was dangerous. He was later charged with sexually assaulting a woman in Halifax in 2005. In 2012, he was convicted of assault causing bodily harm and breach of probation and sentenced to 2 years in prison. He had attacked a bartender in his hometown of Happy Valley Goose Bay. After serving his time, he moved to Halifax again. The parole board noted his history of extreme violence toward women and no remorse for his actions. Again, police in Halifax warned the city. They said Obed has more than 30 past convictions for a number of other crimes, including attempted murder, sexual assaults, and assault with a weapon. His criminal record dates back to 1984. He's been professionally assessed as a very high risk to reoffend in a sexual and violent manner. Halifax police say he'd been living in Halifax under a long list of conditions, including no alcohol or drugs. He had a curfew, too. He had to be home from midnight until 5 a.m. Police say he'd been abiding by all his conditions.
We're bound by specific conditions as well as to when and how we notify the community that a high risk to reoffend person is residing in the area. We met those requirements.
Obed is back in jail today. He'll be back in court on June the 30th. His defense made no application for bail. Preston Mulligan, CBC News, Halifax.
It's become a bucket list item, and I think that it has a lot to do with the film The Titanic.
Fewer icebergs means less business.
Coming up here and now goes hunting
And the fact
for rare
that probably
birds.
in 50 years there won't be any icebergs to float past.
Well, this was the dramatic scene on Carpathian Road in St. John's this morning when an SUV crashed into a pole near Rennie's River Bridge and flipped. Remarkably, nobody was injured in this accident, and this is the second time in just 24 hours that a car has flipped in this part of town. On Sunday morning, a sedan lost control on New Cove Road and struck a utility pole, and that car flipped on its roof and landed in someone's front yard, narrowly missing the front of the home. No word on whether anybody was injured in that accident.
World champion and Olympic medal winning figure skater Kaitlin Osmond is taking a break after a year that she says went far beyond any of her expectations. The 22-year-old from Marystown says she's going to refocus before deciding on her next career move. Osmond announced today she's going to skip this season of Grand Prix, or competitive skating. The Grand Prix consists of 6 senior invitational events and the final, which Osmond won in Milan back in March. But don't call it a retirement. Osmond says she's not stepping away from competitive skating. The town of Springdale is raising a rainbow flag at this hour to kick off Pride Week. The festivities come more than a month after the town council rejected a rainbow crosswalk. Here now's Garrett Barry has more from Springdale.
You'll notice a couple of differences in Springdale already. This colorful picnic table is one of them, and tonight another big marker going up at Town Hall, a pride flag. It all comes after this community faced national scrutiny over its refusal of a rainbow-colored pride crosswalk. A sign of a safe and inclusive space, according to organizers. Some students are looking forward to tonight's ceremony.
I think it's a great way for people in the community to feel included, such as myself and some other people that I do know, and it's just amazing how there's this big thing going on where you can actually go and there's like, isn't there like a flag ceremony happening? Yeah, that's like super cool. I think that's super awesome.
The Indian River High School Gender Sexuality Alliance is helping to plan this week's events. That's the same group that pitched a rainbow-colored crosswalk in Springdale, only to have it turned down by council. The signs kept talking and reached this deal: Pride Week events from Monday to Friday. To some, it's a step in the right direction.
Well, I mean, it's people that's I don't know how to say it, but there's a lot of prejudice and stuff like that going on all the time, right? So, oh, a long ways to go yet. We've got a long ways to go to straighten that stuff out.
Tomorrow night, students from the high school and GSA will be holding an information session at this library right behind me. They'll be talking about what their group does and what it means to be an ally. It's another opportunity to educate the public, something they've been talking about ever since this controversy began. Garrett Berry, CBC News, Springdale.
With recreational cannabis set to be legal next month, weed is a budding business. Canopy Growth will have 4 retail locations in St. John's, Mount Pearl, CBS, as well as Corner Brook, along with a production facility in St. John's. With so much industry growth, the company held a job fair over the weekend.
My name is Mario Castillo. I'm the Regional General Manager for Canopy Growth. I'm here to hopefully build, retail stores and a production facility to follow to create over 200 jobs. Anywhere from 75 to 100 jobs in the retail sector, and then when we have our production facility here, another roughly 150 to 175 jobs.
My name is Daryl Yetman. I'm an industrial mechanic, millwright. I'm looking more toward the production side of things with their new facility they're building here in town. Both myself and my wife have been following Canopy for quite some time now, and once I heard it was coming here to Newfoundland, as I said, it's an industry that I think is going to be very viable in the future and long-lasting. So I wanted to come out and check everything out and see what I could do and see what they could offer me.
My name is Gavin Chubbs. I've always been a plant lover. I do like to grow my own plants at home. I use a lot of technology that is used for the production of cannabis. We have such a short growing season in Newfoundland that I adopted the use of shop lights to grow herbs and peppers at home, just to extend the growing season. So it's an interest in plants.
So the lineup starts right here after this lady right here.
Today people are coming in and they're actually getting interviews on the spot. And those interviews will lead to actual positions here. So you could actually walk away with a job offer, tentative to background checks and everything else that we do.
Hikers of all ages flocked to Petty Harbor this weekend for the annual East Coast Trail fundraising hike. CBC NL was a proud partner of the event, which raised more than $50,000. That money will go towards maintaining and developing the trails. The association also snagged a special medal from the Senate this weekend, which recognizes Canadians who make their communities better places to live.
I think it's significant. We started out in '94 with the vision of developing a world-class international hiking trail, and we've surprised ourselves. Okay, we're here. We thought it would be the next generation. If you look at the latest exit survey done by the province in 2016, the East Coast Trail is the #1 attraction on the Avalon.
The City of St. John's announces its new fire chief. Sherry Colford starts immediately. What are her biggest challenges? She's in our studio live. Stay tuned for her conversation with Debbie.
Well, there is a new chief in town, and it's a milestone for the St. John's Regional Fire Department. Sherry Colford is the first woman to hold the position. A 15-year veteran of the department, Colford was recently the manager of 911 and fire prevention for the province. Now, Sherry Colford takes over as chief immediately after a 2-month-long search to replace the retiring chief, Jerry Peach. Colford will head up a department of about 230 employees. There are 7 fire stations, plus the Gould's Volunteer Fire Department, and divisions involved in fire prevention, medical response, communications, and a whole number of other areas. And Chief Sherry Colford, thank you so much for joining us here. How does that title sit with you?
It's still new. Today is the first day.
Yeah.
But I'm very honored to be able to take this position.
And congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I understand you joined the fire department 15 years ago as a trained firefighter. What was so appealing about that career?
Well, I graduated from Memorial University.
Yeah.
And
I know
went
it's
to
been
work.
a long day,
Yeah, it has
hasn't
been
it?
a long day. It really has. Graduated from MUN and went to work in the private industry. And my office actually overlooked Central Fire Station, the old Central Fire Station. So I would watch the crews do their work every day for a couple of years. And I said, I want to do that. So I quit my job and I went to fire school and I became a trained firefighter.
Did you ever think as a girl growing up in Grand Falls, Windsor, that this would be your career path?
No, definitely not. I always thought I would just go into the business industry. So this was definitely not a path I would have thought of back then.
Now, you know, Chief Colford, that there has been a push in recent years to get more women involved in firefighting. Still male-dominated in that area of firefighting or fire prevention, the whole area of regional fire department. Pretty macho. I'm just wondering, what impact, if any, did that have on you?
My personal experience, I have never had gender play a role in me working with the St. John's Regional Fire Department. Any promotions I've been given, any opportunities I've been given, gender has never been an issue in our department, and I believe that that's all the way through our department.
But have you seen a cultural change or a culture change over the years that you've been there?
Probably not so much a cultural change. I've seen more females wanting to get into the fire department, which is very encouraging. And I probably haven't seen as much of a change because we never really had an environment where it was unusual for the men in firefighting to have females. They were very welcoming, you know, when we all came into the department.
So now you can be seen, though, as a mentor to young women looking at this career path. Has that crossed your mind?
Being the first female fire chief has not been lost on me. Yeah. I hope that many young women watching this will know that they can play any role in a fire department. And I hope that encourages both men and women to get involved.
Now, your experience, as we've talked about, you were a trained firefighter. It wasn't an area that you continued in. You've handled or headed up the 911 service, communications, and so on. I'm just wondering, given all that experience, what kind of a chief is that going to make you?
I'm hoping that it'll touch on my strategic leadership skills. Some of the things that I built from the positions that I held is having to develop an understanding of different jobs in the department and knowing that you're not the only expert in the field. I'm not a one-man show. Our department is built on very highly trained men and women, and I think throughout the different roles that I had, it's allowed me to see that it's very important to lean on those people who do the job every day in order to move the department into the years to come, and I'm excited about that.
And in the few seconds we have left, as you're trying to move the department ahead, what's top of that priority list?
I think one of the biggest things we have is new technology. You know, I already have in mind some of the technology that I would like to see that would make the job of our firefighters much easier.
Chief Sherry Colford, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
hitting about 10 icebergs this year, and usually we're, at this point, probably in the 40 to 50 range.
Iceberg season is off to a slow start, and fewer bergs this year means there's a big impact on the tourism business.
Welcome back, everyone. Harsh wake up for many people in the province this morning. January, sprinter, call it what you like.
Yeah, the snow fell. Maybe it's a little early, though, for certain things that we saw. And I looked out of the roof and thought, okay, am I actually going to ride a bicycle? No,
No.
There's snow. Good for making snowmen?
Yeah,
Apparently.
lots of those. Yeah, I've saw lots of pictures on social media. This one was made, oh, no.
There we go, June the 4th. Patio furniture covered in snow.
Yep.
Not the skidoo, even though it looks like one.
Oh,
there
there's
you go.
one.
Yeah.
It's anyway. What can you do? Just smile and soldier on.
Great
we live where
too.
we live.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Daniel Smith wrote, "Really glad I have the remote starter in the car for these cold January days."
All right, this is with all this kind of stuff. Really glad I have the remote starter.
And this one from Melissa Royal.
Yeah, she wondered if the wooden barbecue scrapers work as car window scrapers.
Well, they could. They could.
And Michael King tweeted a couple of photos saying, "This is an outrage," but a little optimism there from Mandy, who celebrated the sun peeking through this afternoon.
There you go. It was cold though, but
and you know
sunny.
What? Some sun coming tomorrow for
Great.
pretty much everyone. The temperatures won't be great, but the sun will be out. So that's something to look forward to. Let's have a look at our weather on the way headline. So as I just mentioned, a clear, cool Tuesday coming for pretty much everybody tomorrow. Labrador, though, the north coast, you're going to be seeing some high winds and some snow. Not too much snow, but still, you'll be seeing some snow tomorrow evening. And then we're in for a very rainy Tuesday night on the island. So tonight it's pretty quiet. We have some strong winds there along the coast of Labrador. That should subside a little bit overnight tonight. And really, it's very quiet. No precipitation for anyone this evening. We're looking at some cloudy skies and some cool temperatures. If you have any plants that you can protect, you might want to do that because it is going to be hovering around the freezing mark for pretty much everyone tonight. As we get into tomorrow, nice clear skies for mostly everybody, but you can see the snow started to move its way towards the north coast of Labrador, and those winds ramping up as well. Now, on the island, we won't see anything until a little bit later. So this is the picture for tomorrow. Temperatures, just barely cracking the double digits for most places. 11 degrees as the high for St. John's tomorrow. A bit warmer in central, 14 there for Grand Falls, Windsor. So at least it'll be sunny. It won't be super warm, but it'll be nice clear skies. So, and for Labrador as well, most of Labrador will be seeing some sunshine tomorrow, except if you're in Nain or Reykjavik, you'll be seeing some of those afternoon, evening flurries coming through and those strong northwesterly winds. And as we head into Tuesday evening, this is where the rain will start to affect the island. The couple of rounds of rain coming through and affecting the Avalon at around midnight. About 5 to 10 millimeters of rain expected there. And Wednesday evening, another round of rain coming through. So yeah, and then we're looking at Thursday morning. The Avalon could start to see some showers there as well. So I'll get into all of those details a little bit later. Debbie?
Thank you, Carolyn. There are a lot fewer icebergs off the coast of Newfoundland and Labrador so far this year. The Canadian Ice Service is tracking about 300 icebergs right now. Last year at this time, it was more than 1,000. The Ice Service says there are a number of factors. For instance, sea ice protects the icebergs from breaking up, and there was less this year. Winds have also kept the bergs farther offshore. Tour operators say fewer bergs has meant also fewer tourists this year. We sent Here and Now's Peter Cowan out to Bonavista Bay to see what he could find.
Compared to last year, it was certainly not as many icebergs this year, and they're fewer and far between. And for our business, it seems in the last 5 years that it's grown significantly as far as iceberg tourism goes. I think icebergs now, it's become a bucket list item, and I think that it has a lot to do with the film The Titanic. Also has a lot to do with global warming and the fact that probably in 50 years there won't be any icebergs to float past. And it's just really showed up on people's lists of things to do.
They were a pretty big driver to come here and actually see some and get lucky, I think. So it was a good opportunity, and now is the right time.
I think it's fascinating the way they travel so far down from Greenland, and they're really big. So they're quite impressive.
We're getting a lot of people that are traveling down just for the weekend, in particular just to see that. So places like Montreal, Toronto, people that are coming to St. John's are dropping down specifically to see icebergs. They want to see icebergs, and they're willing to take that time and put that money forward to actually travel down for a long weekend. So that's pretty significant. One time it was all, are there any whales? Are there any whales? Now, when we have whales, people are saying, are there any icebergs? So the focal point is turned totally around to icebergs as opposed to just whales. Whales and icebergs, when we get two of those together, it's really a big draw card. We've missed out on a significant portion of the shoulder season and the revenue that's generated by it. and I never realized how much so until this year. Now, that's not saying that icebergs aren't coming. There's still lots of icebergs to be able to. The season is only just starting, really.
That is a bitty-burgy bit.
Yes, a tiny one. Yes, for beverages, they're so majestic.
Yeah.
Icebergs and whales.
Fantastic, and as was just said, it's early yet.
True.
They may appear, and it's such a wonderful thing for visitors to see.
Part of the trick of being a good salmon angler is picking the right fly. But what if you can't get a license? It's causing problems across the province, and it's affecting businesses. Welcome back to Here and Now. DFO opened the province's rivers to salmon fishing at about 4 p.m. island time today. Anglers on the west coast could finally get their hands on salmon licenses. But on the south coast, where there are early season runs, and for thousands of anglers on the Avalon who fish right across the island, there are still no licenses to be found. And it's causing frustration and costing profits for a number of businesses, including Outdoor Pros in Mount Pearl. So Matt, what have the phones been like here?
Well, they've been ringing off the hook actually with people looking for their salmon licenses. Yeah.
And what do you tell them?
We just tell them that we're not going to have them yet, and you know, we're not going to know until the government lets us know. So that could be any day now, I hope.
Most people take it okay, or they partially blame you?
No, nobody's lashing out at us yet.
Right.
I guess a lot of customers understand that it's a process, and maybe some of them understand what's going on at a bigger political scale. But for us, it just means less business.
Right. What about how many calls did you get today?
I think today, around lunchtime, we were probably up to about 50 this morning, people looking for their licenses. To put it in perspective, up to this date last year, we sold over 300 licenses from the first one that was sold around May 16th.
Right.
So it's, we're weeks past what we had last year.
And as you know, leading up to opening day, there's a lot of buildup of excitement, and I think you guys are actually offering fly tying events here. And what does it mean for your business to actually have kind of, okay, oh, can't fish?
Exactly. Well, it's heartbreaking for the anglers, and the thing is that a lot of them have been waiting on this decision and waiting on the licenses for months now. We've had people since Christmas who've been saying, I'm going to wait until I find out what's going to happen with the season next year.
Do you find it odd that the minister himself was hand delivering licenses on the west coast, but here on the Avalon, where there are a lot of anglers, so far at least, I don't think any licenses have been distributed?
Well, I can't speak for his decisions, but I know if I was in his position, I'd be wanting to get them out as quick as possible, because I know a lot of people are asking questions and saying, why has this happened so late? And you know, they're looking for an explanation.
A lot of disappointment with salmon anglers, but the next thing on the agenda for a lot of Newfoundlanders, of course, is the recreational cod fishery. By now, would you be selling that kind of gear?
Absolutely, yeah. We sell cod gear all year long because it's such a staple. And based on numbers, I mean, so many people go salmon fishing, so many people go trouting, but cod fishing is part of the Newfoundland identity, and it's also part of our tourism. So
what's happening with that?
Well, the dates haven't been announced yet for that either. So we're cautiously optimistic that there'll be a decision soon, but we have no proof of that. And it's the same thing. People are holding up purchases. They want to know before they invest on a $200 cod rod. Or, you know, I can only imagine about other industries that depend on this, be it, I guess, hospitality.
Well, not to mention if you're going to book a B&B or a hotel.
Absolutely.
Travel.
Yeah. I mean, it's a driver for our economy here. So, I mean, we really need decisions to come earlier.
Right.
And yeah, I really think that it could have been handled better.
Okay. So you're keeping your fingers crossed that all this is going to be resolved?
Hopefully. I mean, that's all we can do is sit and wait. We've been, I guess we've been very vocal about conservation, and we want a salmon fishery. I mean, we're anglers, and this doesn't help us as individuals, and it doesn't help our industry.
Right. And licenses reduced to $5, and you've made a decision what to do with that money.
Yeah, so 100% of the proceeds from licenses purchased at our shop are going to be split 3 ways in a donation to ASF, Spawn,
Atlantic Salmon Federation, and groups that actually try to promote conservation.
Absolutely, and we've been longtime supporters of these groups, and we believe that their work is crucial to the Atlantic salmon, and we're going to support them by donating 100% of the fees.
All right. Yeah. Well, with any luck, we'll be out in the water at some point. Tight lines.
Tight lines.
And thank you very much, Matt. Thanks a lot.
See you on the river.
Thank you. Yes, so a lot of frustration, as you know, with anglers who are very excitable people. You are one.
Great chat with your guest there, and what a rough start to this season, angling season. And he brought up the cod fishery, that's another thing.
Well, we're still waiting for the regulations for that, of course. I think there are many more people actually participate in the recreational cod fishery. But back to the salmon quickly, it's interesting that DFO announced today that somehow they're going to allow anglers to have 10 catch and release fish until the 3rd week of July. I'm sort of wondering, how do you enforce that after someone catches and releases? You know?
Good question.
Interesting questions to come.
Turning now to this national story, there has been a very serious bus crash in eastern Ontario. Multiple ambulances and air ambulances were dispatched to the single vehicle accident on the 401 highway near Prescott, Ontario. Provincial police say at least 24 are in hospital, several in critical condition. There were about 40 people on board the bus. The bus apparently collided with a rock wall. There's no word yet on where the bus originated or where it was going.
After just 15 months as leader, the head of the Bloc québécois is quitting her job.
J'ai quitté le poste de chef du Bloc québécois.
Martine Ouellette's resignation takes effect on Friday, less than a week after support for her leadership dropped to 32% in a rank-and-file vote. Ouellette says bickering within the party is the biggest challenge to Quebec independence, calling it a matter of fratricide. Now, there's no doubt this is a remarkable video, but some may find it rather unsettling. This brave crawfish narrowly avoided becoming someone's dinner at a restaurant in China by tearing off its own claw.
Oh my. The person who posted the clip said he was so impressed with the crustacean's getaway, he adopted him as a pet. He even bought him a new aquarium.
Stay with us. Here Now continues after this.
Marissa. It is time to meet our young athlete of the day, and this is dancer Leslie Oak.
Yeah, and
Marissa Grimes it is.
This is Marissa Grimes, right? And
yes.
She dances at the Leslie Oak School of Dance. She's 7 years of age, and she's been swimming for years.
She also recently joined gymnastics, and Marissa loves to stay active and try new things. So congratulations on being today's young athlete of the day.
Young florist of the day, too. Did you see any flowers she had there?
Sorry, Marissa, for stumbling over your name there, but congratulations once again. Well, some people in St. John's had a bit of a scare late Saturday afternoon when a big boom shook houses and reverberated from the East End to downtown.
So, of course, many of them took to Twitter to share their theories on the big NL boom.
Here's one tweet. The aliens are coming, wrote Lily Moore, who wasn't the only one to think extraterrestrial.
Also, economic interpretation. If our province's budget had a sound, we just heard it.
Oh, dear.
Evan Kent, a good one there.
Okay, Anthony, you had a decent one.
I had to.
That Ryan Snoddon slammed the door really hard after realizing how boring Nova Scotia's weather is.
Oh, but Matt McCarthy was closest to the real reason for the boom, tweeting, "Did something just blow up in St. John's?" Which it did.
And it turns out that Hard Rock, which was doing blasting at the city landfill, explained that it hit a layer of unusually warm air that bounced that loud sound back down to Earth instead of carrying it up into the atmosphere, so it was much more intense than it otherwise would have been. But everybody was like, earthquakes, aliens had crashed into a crater. There was all kinds of stuff on social media, but it's amazing how instant it is. What was that? Right? From Flat Rock to CBS, it was incredible.
I'd like to know where that warm air came from. I didn't really feel that on the weekend. But anyways, yeah, things are going to be staying fairly cool for the next 7 days, really. Let's have a look at our long-range forecast, starting with the highs today. Yeah, really cool temperatures. It actually looks like Labrador City, Happy Valley, Goose Bay, they were the hot spots with a balmy 10 degrees today in the province. So yeah, some pretty cool temperatures right across the board. For tomorrow, things warming up slightly, 11 degrees as the high for St. John's tomorrow. Lots of sunshine expected, some nice light winds. So it should be a cool but quite pleasant day for the island tomorrow. For Labrador, very similar for most of Labrador except for Nain, where the winds are really going to ramp up there, and you have about 5 centimeters of snow coming. So Tuesday evening, we're also going to start seeing some rain hit the island. Here's the snow that's going to be affecting Nain and Makkovik, and look at those temperatures, -1. So very, very cool as well. And this is the system that will be moving through, and so Wednesday is also looking to be kind of a gray, showery day for much of the island, and cool with some chances of flurries there in Labrador. And there's another round of wet weather coming through on Wednesday afternoon, and you can see the temperature staying pretty cool. So periods of rain for the east, 5 degrees as the high, 11 degrees for the west coast there, and a chance of that that messy mix of showers and flurries for eastern Labrador, and temperatures certainly not much better up there either. So Wednesday afternoon into the evening, that's that round of showers coming through. And yeah, so things don't really improve that much. It dries off for a little bit for parts of the island, but Thursday there is a chance of showers there for the east, up to 12 degrees as the high, slightly warmer there on Thursday. Not too bad of a day for central and western areas of the province. Nice bright sunny day coming for eastern Labrador, and 15 degrees on Thursday afternoon. So that's not so bad, right? So Thursday afternoon, this is kind of looking down the road of what's to come. Some more showers for Labrador and the possibility of some snow or some flurries as well as you head into the weekend overnight on Saturday, and as well for the Northern Peninsula there on Sunday overnight. And then it looks like we're going to be seeing another big system coming to the island for Monday morning. So we'll see how that plays out as we get later into the week. But yeah, you can see the temperature is not that great except for Friday in central and for the western parts of the island. So 18 degrees and sunshine there. So that looks pretty nice. But for the rest of the week, things are still barely cracking the double-digit temperatures with lots of wet weather to come as well. Not a great weekend shaping up for Labrador, and some clearing there on a Monday. Anthony?
Thanks, Carolyn. There's a medical recommendation released just today that surprises many experts. New guidelines say every baby boomer and Generation Xer should be tested for hepatitis C. But not everyone thinks that's a good idea or a wise investment. CBC Health reporter Christine Birak reports.
It's a sweeping guideline, blood tests for every Canadian born between 1945 and 75 to check for hepatitis C. That is what the Canadian Association for the Study of the Liver is recommending. Hepatitis C can lead to chronic liver infections. It's spread by having contact with an infected person's blood, often through unsterile needles. There is concern from decades ago because there wasn't widespread screening of blood products for infections like Hep C. Dr. Hemant Shah says it's now time to start testing because there are new treatments.
In Ontario and in many other jurisdictions around the country, the government has removed all restrictions for getting access to these treatments. So every infected person with hepatitis C in Canada can access therapy. That makes identification of people who don't even know they have it very, very important.
But not all doctors agree on this.
We recommended against screening the average Canadian not at elevated risk for this chronic infection.
Dr. Ronald Grad is with the Canadian Task Force on Preventative Healthcare, which published its recommendation just last year, saying screening does make sense for injection drug users, sex workers, and those coming from countries without effective blood screening. Grad says Hep C drugs run about $100,000 per patient, and it's not clear that they work long term.
We really do not know whether these drugs are a cure. Second reason was that we felt the cost of screening and treatment would have a dramatic impact on our healthcare budget of the order of $1.5 billion.
So the question is to screen based on age or to screen based on risk. Ultimately, it's up to doctors to decide. Christine Birak, CBC News, Toronto.
The U.S. Supreme Court has sided with a baker who refused to make a wedding cake for a gay couple. The case goes back to 2012 when baker Jack Phillips chose not to make a wedding cake, citing religious reasons. The couple took the matter to the Colorado Civil Rights Commission. A majority of U.S. Supreme Court justices found that the commission showed a hostility to religion in the way it handled the case. Donald Trump's administration intervened in the case and sided with the baker.
Well, here's our viewer picture of the day. As we heard in Peter Cowan's report earlier in the show, there are fewer icebergs showing up this year so far, but look at this spectacular one. I'll tell you exactly where you can see it in the province up next.
Welcome back, everyone. And now back to Springdale, where, as our Garrett Barry reported earlier, the mayor was going to raise the rainbow flag, and he did that just moments ago. Have a look.
We had the GSA committee group here with us and the citizens of Springdale to declare this Pride Week. We're raising the flag on behalf. Thank you very much for attending. Okay.
There's the mayor. Raising the flag. This is all to kick off Pride Week. Those festivities come more than a month after the town council rejected a rainbow crosswalk that was in the news a fair bit. There's sunny conditions there.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Lots of people to witness the raising of the Pride flag.
And this just happened a very short while ago, so it's great to get that on and see the flag flying up there.
Well, you could say it's a rite of passage for any firefighter.
Yeah, this rookie got his initiation out of the way early, rescuing a cat stuck in a tree on his first day on the job.
He was lifted about 30 feet up into the treetops, where he quickly scooped up the frightened feline. The gray cat held on until it was safely returned to the arms of its owner.
And then, of course, the rookie received his first round of applause from a crowd of onlookers.
Our new fire chief in St. John's said she had a busy day, but she didn't have to do that.
Right.
So, yeah, before the break, we showed you our viewer picture of the day. Just a beautiful iceberg. Any guesses where? Well, we all know where most of the icebergs show up, don't we?
Yeah. Twillingate was too easy, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, especially where Peter Cowan had been out there. I thought maybe he sent it in.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope, this is Upper Amherst Cove, just down the road from Bonavista. Beautiful iceberg.
Gorgeous, gorgeous.
They do get some nice ones there, obviously. That's a gorgeous one.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Vicki Lodge Brown, for posting that on Ryan's Facebook page.
And that'll do it for us this evening. We'd love to see more pictures like that, so would the tourists. Thanks very much for being with us, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
Good night.